Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Rickster, and on this one here we're going to be taking a bike tank and we're going to be doing some repairs and we're going to be respraying it. Now this bike tank was dropped off to me and they just wanted it had some repairs on it and they just wanted the colours touched up on it again. So it's a Triumph bike tank and it's painted in red, metallic black, and it's got a silver outline on it. So if you stick around, we'll be taking you through the repair process and we'll be taking you through the paint process as well. So here we go. So as you can see, this is the bike tank. Now it's a Triumph bike tank and these are the three colours that are on it. So we've got the red, the silver outline, and then the metallic black. It's quite a large tank, as you can see. And it's had a little repair that's been done in here, but as you can see on it, it's got a few little pinholes and it's out of shape a little bit. It's not too bad, pretty good repair, but we're just going to fine tune it a little bit. So the first step to do is, before we sand it or do anything like that, we need to make sure that we know what colours are on it. So what I've done is I've given it a polish just on the colours, just a little bit of a polish, and I've got a scan tool which will scan the colour and then it'll store it in our computer system. So when it comes time to painting it, I know the colour, I can make up the colour, and we'll go from there. The next step is to be removing these badges and all the screws up the top here. You have a rubber grommet here, which we will take out. And we'll take the petrol cap off as well. So there's all the parts that we've stripped off, and we will put those all in a container so nothing gets lost. Quite a nice looking Triumph badge actually. Chrome and curved, quite a solid badge. Right, so once that's done, our next step is to take photos. So it's crucial to take the photos so we know exactly how it goes, those patterns go back on it. So we've taken all the photos now, I've just put them onto my phone. And we've written down some measurements of where everything sort of goes. So these silver lines that are actually on it, they've actually been hand brushed on, which is very nice. It's a very good job that whoever did it the first time. The way we're going to be doing it is going to be a little bit different. Now we'll move over to the cleaning process, and we just use some degreaser and some Prepsol, and that'll make it all nice and clean and give us a nice clean surface to work with and to start sanding. So I'm just going to be putting a rag just in the fuel filler here, just so we don't get any sanding dust or degreaser or Prepsol in there, because we don't want to cross-contaminate that or put anything like that inside where the petrol goes. So that's what we've done there. Right, now that the petrol tank is all clean, what we're going to be doing is starting the sanding process. So I want to pretty much take this down to as much bare metal as I can, because I just want to start completely fresh on it. So I'll be starting off with 80 grit. Now there's obviously a repair in here, so I don't want to rip out any body filler that's in there too much. There is a little bit of a nick there, so we'll fill that, and I notice there's one around here as well, so we'll do that. But I'll start off with 80 grit and take off as much of the paint as I possibly can, and then we'll work our way up to 180 grit, and then once it's in 180 grit, it is ready for a couple of coats of 2K high solid primer. Now the paint we're actually going to be using will be the full De Beers range, so that'll be De Beers primer, De Beers base coat, and De Beers clear coat. Alright, so we have 80 grit now on a DA sander, an air powered DA sander with a soft interface pad on it. Because this has a lot of curves on it, I don't want a flat surface where it's going to put a lot of rigid edges in it. So I'm going to be using the interface pad on the sander so it will concurve and concave in the parts that I need to. Right, after sanding it down, notice that the previous repair that maybe the customer did or somebody else has done in time, I did notice there was a couple of, when we started, there was a couple of little pinholes and just little bits on it. But after sanding it down, I've noticed that there's actually a bigger dent here than I previously thought. So there's a little bit of metal showing through there, so that shows me that it's actually quite high there. But if you run your hand across it, I can feel there's a little bit of a low spot in there as well. So what we're going to do is we're just going to hammer down this high part, and we will fill it with some body filler just to smooth it out a little bit better. Sand it down again and until it's right, and then carry on with sanding the rest. So we just have some 3M Platinum Select filler, and that's what we're going to be using to fill the dent in with. So just hammer down that high spot a little bit. So now that that part's hammered down enough, we can just put some body filler over there, sand it off and smooth it off, and it should be fine. So there we have the body filler in it, so we'll just allow that to dry. I also filled up that little pinhole that was there and one that was there as well. So allow that to dry, and then we'll sand it, and then we'll finish it off with 180 and then give it another clean, and it should be ready for primer. Right, so that dent now is feeling a lot better across there, so I'm quite happy with that. Those pinholes as well, they're all filled in. So it's all been sanded with 180 grit. Now what I like to do is just get a little bit of red Scotch-Brite, and I'll go over the whole lot with it, and this just allows me to get into all the little nooks and crannies and stuff so I don't miss anything. So there's no shiny edges or little bits in it, so the primer will stick to everything. So there we have it. We've used the Scotch-Brite to get around to every little piece that we could. So it's really good because you can just obviously fold it up into little pieces and really just get into all the little bits that are quite hard to get into with a sander or sandpaper as well. So that's where we're up to on that. So I'm just going to blow it off now, and then we'll clean it. Righto, so we've achieved quite a bit tonight. It's actually Saturday night, it's 11:30, and I'm going to go home because I am shattered, I'm tired. I've been doing a bunch of other jobs during the day, but we achieved a lot tonight. So we got the tank all sanded down, we did that little repair that was on it, and we got it all cleaned, and we got it ready for primer. So pretty happy with those results so far. So tomorrow I'll be in there and I'll just chuck a little bit of masking in there, and we'll mask the underneath of the tank, because obviously we don't need primer in places that we don't need primer. So just to keep it nice and tidy. Later on, once the tank's all done, we can spray a little bit of black in there as well, and that'll just clean it all up. So until then, I'm gonna head home, and just to recap on everything, tomorrow we're masking, on Sunday we're masking, we're priming, and then we'll let that dry, we'll give it a bake, and then we'll be blocking it all down and then getting it ready for its top colours. So until then, alright, good morning, it's a fresh new day, and we're just gonna get into masking up that tank now and start priming it. Now we have it all masked up. I've set the bike tank up on a trestle here on a couple of bits of wood there. So I've just masked the wood up just so no dust and stuff comes off of it. So what we'll do now is we'll get some booth wipes and some Prepsol, and we will give it a wipe down and then put the primer on. So here we have is the De Beers HS Surfacer, and then the De Beers HS Hardener Fast, and we'll be mixing that in our 3M PPS cup. We have a 4:1 stick because the primer is a 4:1 mix, and we'll be mixing the amount to number 3 with the primer, and then number 3 for the hardener. We'll put that in the cup, and then we'll be using an Iwata with a 1.4mm tip on it to spray 2 coats, possibly 3, of De Beers HS primer. Right, so there we have it. We put 3 coats of primer on top of the tank. We went with 3 because I just didn't want to cut through, and there's a lot of edges on it as well. So we'll put 3, and that will help prevent us from cutting through to be a steel or the undercoats of the paint. Now the reason that it's black, a few of you might be asking, is because I have to put a red down. Now red will always cover better over a darker primer or a darker surfacer. So that's the reason for the black. So now all we got to do is we got to bake the tank, and that will bake at 65 degrees for about 40 minutes. So a good amount of primer on there, 3 coats of black De Beers HS Surfacer. It's a high solid. Let that bake out, and we'll probably come back tomorrow and we'll start blocking it down. Right, so it's a fresh new day again. We're into the blocking stage now. So I've just gone ahead and blocked it with 180 and 240 grit. We have a couple of cut throughs on it, but we can we will address those later with some rub-through primer. Righto, so we jumped on the DA sander with 400 grit, and then we went to 500 grit. Now we're up to 800, and I'm going to be doing the 800 stage wet sanding it. It's just a personal preference to me. I think it's refined scratches a lot better. It's easier to use and just helps me get into a few spots a bit easier. But that's just my personal preference. Some people like to do it dry sanding. It's completely up to them. So with some of these cut throughs that I've got here, cut through on some of the primer. It's a bit of a shame, but it sometimes happens. I'm just going to be using some of this stuff here, which is the Roberlo Air Color, and all it is a 1K primer, and we'll just spray a little bit of that over the cut throughs, and then when it comes time to painting, then I'll give it a light scuff with some 800 grit, and that'll be fine to base over. So we're going to move on to those stages now. Water, soft block, and some 800. So because it's got a lot of curves and weird shapes on it, being a bike tank, a little bit was done by hand sanding. So now we're just going to get some Scotch-Brite, some grey Scotch-Brite, and we'll just go over it one more time. So it's all done in 800 now. Just get some Scotch-Brite, be all good. So all the Scotch-Brite's done now. Normally with parts like this, I would take them outside and just run a hose over it, just clean it all off. But being a fuel tank, it's probably not advisable. So we'll just get some rags and some Prepsol and we'll just give it a clean that way. And then we'll apply our spray primer on all the cut throughs, and then it is officially ready for top coating. Right, some may ask, why I didn't just use a wet on wet primer, and yeah, I could have. We have it here, but just in my opinion, this is going to work easier and just as good. So that's what we've done. So you're probably going to end it here tonight, and we'll catch you tomorrow. I'm obviously just doing this job in my spare time. I have a full-time job doing panel and paint as well. So for you guys, it'll be like that, but for me, I'm gonna go home and sleep. So see you then. Yo, what up? So, another day, and we're back. So, as you can see, just got it all sanded down and gave it a Scotch-Brite just over those areas that I did. And we've just got the tack rag out now. I'm just going to wipe that down and we're going to get some silver on it. So sweet, here we go. The paint process is about to start. So the Supernova WS400 base. So this is the gun that we'll be using. Well, that was random. So yeah, obviously we're spraying in the workshop. Yeah, because, well, we're going to be putting the red and the black on probably in the spray booth, and we'll probably clear it in the spray booth as well, but just for this, only because we need that fine line of silver, we're just doing it out here and it's fine. So we'll probably just put a couple of coats over it. We'll use the silver just to fill in any scratches that I may have missed. Hopefully there's none, and then we'll use the outline tape to mask those lines back in. So here we go. Silver down. So there we have our fine line tape down. It's, truth be told, it's not an easy process. It just literally takes a lot of just time and patience, really. So we've got all that down now. It's looking quite good. Now time to get our black on. It's our metallic black, if you remember. So I'll put the metallic black down and then we'll mask that up, and then we'll put our red down, and then we'll take it into the spray booth and we'll put a couple of coats of clear onto it. So if you're still tuned in, hold on for a little bit longer and we will get there. So we've just got a few coats of black on there now, still needs a couple more. This is the metallic black. So it's looking, it's laying on quite nicely. So this is the Beers Barrow base base coat. There we go, it's a one mask, looking pretty good. Now it comes down to clearing it. Definitely looks cool the way. Lines look good. Right, let's clear it. Righto guys, that's it from me. That tank's all cleared now. I'm just going to be putting the badges on it and we're going to be shipping it off to the customer. So I hope you guys learned some tips and some tricks, and don't forget to like this video, give us a subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one. Rickster from ProTips, catch you later.